audience has been watching it for the last 18 years. Great irony and shame.
How many of you have seen this film before?
I think it's like almost since the mid-90s always kind of been available.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
You know, I mean, thousands and thousands of people have seen it, own it, on VHS, now DVD, and it's somewhat of a crime that the film is there. You know, that's not an official release, but indeed it got released.
And in the end, I mean, it in a sense has generated more publicity over the last 18 years because of not ever having coming out than possibly if it had come out.
It's a bigger hit because it never was released.
It was funny because even after the minute we stopped doing it, Hollywood knew about it. They knew what was going on. The comic world knew about it and knew what was going on. I would go to auditions for the next, 10 years after it, and they'd look at your resume, and the one thing that a director or a casting director always wanted to ask you about, oh, you did the Fantastic Four? What? Tell me about it. That was a great conversation thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. Do you guys own copies of the movie? Have you owned copies since the mid-90s?
Would you give it a copy? Only slipped me one, but it had that other Cinetel movie on it as well.
I have to say that there was a Shrine Auditorium when we first played the trailer. That's right. And when we did that there was a line out the door, down the street, and me and Alex turned to them and goes, holy crap, we got something here. And when we played that, they went crazy for the trailer. And he and I got together, we found this young publicist who was hungry, and we went to comic book stores, conventions. We got on a plane and showed it on the plane on the way over. That's it.
He's so good, he's a chick magnet.
So then we got everybody else involved, and we just started going. It was great. It was fantastic.
And none of us have ever worked since. So we're
I have one story. I was Chris Columbus, 1492, this production company. They were rumored to do this film. I had an audition at Chris Columbus Studios on 20th Century, and I knew 20th Century had bought the rights. So when I ever walk on that stage, I'm like, that's like my enemy. So I walked in there, and I had an audition actually at Chris Columbus, Studios. I mean, in the bungalow. And I'm walking down the hallway, and I stop dead in my tracks, and I see Fantastic Four pre-production photos, and I'm like, yes. And so I walked in the office. I'm standing like this, and I'm looking around, looking for somebody, and then I was like, indignant, whatever. And this lady came up to me, help you? I said, yeah. I'm Michael Billy Smith. I'm the original Ben Grimm, the original Fantastic Four. And she goes, oh, there's a real original Fantastic Four. Hell yeah, there was.
He didn't get that part.
Can I say, escort that man out of the studio?
What Ole said about having a good cast here to work with, well, I got to tell you, after 35 years or so in this industry, it's like any other industry. It starts at the top. It starts with the captain. And so if the captain's got that kind of enthusiasm, like our director did, and is excited about it now as he was 20 years ago, that's what kept us driving. That's what kept us going. You want to make it right for the man who wants to make it right. And I think all of us being professionals, 5 or 6 of us being professionals, it's me. I just think it was such a grand experience for all of us, and it was new for all of us too. It was something that had never been done. And as an actor, as a stunt person, as a director, to do something first time is pretty freaking cool. So it was just a fun shoot with a really great movie.
Young man in the corner.
Question.
This is a question for Michael and Jay. Tell us about the stunt hair in the movie. So we'll tell us about all that.
Stunt hair.
Real hair?
It was funny because for me, of course, I just had brown hair at the time, and I did have hair, and they said, obviously you're going to need to get it dyed blonde. And so I said, well, can I go to the guy that usually cuts my hair and have him dye it? They said, yeah, sure, we'll pay for it. So I go down there, and he puts whatever the peroxide or stuff in, and I'm kind of hanging out, and next thing you know, my scalp's getting kind of warm, and then it's starting to burn, And then I couldn't stand it any longer. I'm like, you gotta get it out, you gotta get it out. And he gets me over to the wash basin, and it's kind of orangey color down. It's my scalp's blistering. So I finally had to highlight it, and oh man. Just one little thing, just what Ole said too. It was absolutely right what Pearl said. No, but I think that was what I remember too. I remember right at the very beginning, I don't even know if we had rehearsals, I don't remember, but Ole gave us that speech that he just told you about realizing that, yeah, we can't compete with the big boys. You know, there's no way. So let's do this. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on characters. Let's focus on the story. Let's make the best one we can make. And it was true. I mean, we just bonded. All of us got along great. And some of the conditions were, you know, if you
horrific.
Roger Corman has a studio in LA, and like I said, I mean, it should be condemned. It should be shut down. We're in these dressing rooms, and I mean, you know, there's ants and critters and mice and, you know, all this wacky stuff, and we're there all hours of the night, and it was just, I mean,
It's
yeah.
so cheap they bought generic cola. We couldn't even get real Coca-Cola. There were some fun there were some wonderful nights though. You know, there was that on the mountaintop in Calabasas before they even built those houses. We were sitting around that fire doing the scene when Johnny gets mad and all that, and the trucks come up, and all of that was real stuff. I mean, you know, that was just a wonderful night. We've all been on some pretty cool film sets, but that's one of my fondest memories because of we all just really gelled. It was just sitting around a campfire with Ole, and it was just beautiful, and it shows in that scene. It's really sweet.
Trying to keep those packs on our spacesuits
Yeah, they're just
velcroed on.
And it was funny, even the blue suits when we had them, I mean, you could physically see the stitching, like the hand stitching of like the white against
Some
the
of
blue,
the
like,
fours
oh, they're
would go,
handmade. It's like, I can so better now. I mean, it was just so bare bones.
Now, Joseph's portrayal of Dr. Doom, I think, is the best you will ever see. Joseph earlier today, when we met my daughter, and we were talking about how you emote with your hands. Okay, and I think it's an old Shakespearean style of acting, right? What? But
I did.
But tell the crowd here about what really got into your skin when you were doing the role of Dr. Doom.
Well, the thing is, yes, you know, here you are. Here's the challenge of the actor. You're encased in the metal suit, or plastic suit in this case, and you've got a mask on your face. So, one, you know, how are you going to convey what is going on with that character? And obviously, it's going to be in your physical gestures and in your voice. So, you know, I pushed them both about as far as I could possibly go. And even on looking at it now, I think, you know, if I had held back any, it wouldn't have flown. You know, it had to go to show what was happening inside. And what was happening inside was great pain, torture, and it was so hot and awful in the suit. I mean, I was encased in plastic pieces molded to my body with Velcro strips all over the mask, and there was this one piece that kept digging right into the crook of my knee, just like that. And there was nothing we could do about it. No, not a tape or anything, it just kept digging in. And finally, it just made me so very angry. Out at the Fantastic Four! I hate everyone! I hate life! I'm hurting! Help!